Hello and welcome back to Creative Frenzy. Alright, we are still working in our Woodland little magazine art journal, or regular journal, whatever you want to call it. This is how we are using up our 6x6 paper pads, or whatever papers you've been hoarding. This is a good time to be using them up. Maybe you have some digikits or whatever, but you know, it gives you some ideas on how you can use them. So that's what I'm doing. So if you remember, I made this little fold out or fold up piece that I was going to put here, but then I wouldn't see this red poppy, I guess it is. Maybe it's a poppy or a tulip, I'm not entirely sure. But I didn't want it hidden away, so I thought maybe I could do something on this page. And I had some paper left over, which I'm going to use as a little fold out. So it'll be fun. Grab your scraps and let's play. So I've been just keeping all the little scraps on my table. This is a very simple little notebook. You know, you don't have to have folded pages. You can just staple them in like this and use it as a little tearaway pad, which is fun too. So I'm just going to staple this together. Now you can cover up the staples. You can do one staple or two. It's entirely up to you. It doesn't matter. Hopefully it'll go through. Oh, it did. Look at that. Okay, now to cover up the staple, we're just going to take a round punched up piece, and we're just going to stick it right up here as a little decorative piece. I'm just going to fold over a little bit of it. All right. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to turn this into one with an attached paper clip so that we can put it anywhere in the booklet. And so if you wanted to use this page for something else, because I'll probably put a belly band here. I think that'd be kind of cool. So what we're going to do is we are going to make a little slit in this top piece here so that we can put our paper clip in there. Just, oops. It would help if I cut straight, wouldn't it? There we go. You could use a big one or a small one. It's entirely up to you. But generally, you put the small piece in the center, I think we'll do it this way. Because that way we have more grip. All right. Now you could put a ribbon on top of that. You know what, let's do that. We'll do something that sort of goes with the rest of it before we get too far. And this is easier if you do it the other way. So again, this series, you know, it's just a way to use up your paper pads and have fun with things you've been sort of, you know, keeping for yourself kind of thing. I'm just going to slide that in there. And then we have that. And then we're going to attach this just with good old Aleene's tacky glue, or whatever glue works for you the best. But then we can attach it anywhere. All right. So we're going to glue probably the back side first. You could put a piece of tape on there if you're afraid it's not going to hold, but I think it'll be fine. But this way, if you're moving it around or you want to take it out of the journal, you can obviously have a nicer piece on the back so that it all coordinates together. All right. So that's the back. And then we just want to make sure that we put this down. You have a little bit of leeway, but not much, so make sure you sort of get it on there straight. And I went totally crooked. There we go. So you could use your favorite punch for this. You don't have to use a circle. You could just do a little strip of paper or a square piece or whatever if you don't have a punch. But this way you can rip out your pages as needed. So whatever scraps you have left over, you can use them up in these kinds of little booklets. And they're very handy. So there we go. We are going to ink the edges, obviously. Since I've started, I gotta continue. You can round the corners. I like this paper. All right, there we go. That's that. So that'll go in here. I like that the ribbon sticks out the front. So I did do ribbon on my tags. So I just had some little pieces left over. Not long enough to make a bow or anything, but just enough to peek out of the top, just to add to the color of it. So on this side I want to do a belly band, so we can just slide that in there, and we can use it either or. So somebody can, you know, tuck something in there, or you can keep this here. This is movable, so you can put it anywhere that you want, which is nice, and it matches the paper, obviously. All right, so we'll set this aside for now. So I had thought of putting a little fold-out piece over on this side. So I thought maybe we could do that. So all we're going to do is we're going to fold it in half, fold it back on itself to the edge, and this way everything is nice and even. You don't even have to score it or measure it. All right. And all we're going to do, these are not the same size obviously, but I think in this case I don't think it overly matters, because what we can do is we can attach it and you can have it fold out either way, or you can put this elsewhere. That's okay too. But that's all I've done, just using scrap pieces of paper, something you wouldn't use anywhere else really. So do I want a background on here? Maybe. So I'm going to get my fern stencil out again, because I've used it on other pages. And we'll use this vintage photo again, just so it peeks out from behind, just to add a little bit of interest. You can be very deliberate as to where you place your stencil. This is a good way to just sort of pretty up a page fairly quickly if you're kind of stuck for time. There we go. So I don't know about you guys, but here we have a lot of fog this morning. It is like I can barely see 2 blocks over, which is kind of, you know, I mean, we're sort of out in the outskirts of town, so it's not overly busy, but it's hard to see across the street. I'm going to ink the edges on this too, but make it stand out a little bit more. You can ink all of them. You can be as fancy as you want. I kind of like the idea of inking all the edges. I always find it very satisfying when it's all done. Know what I mean? Hang on, let me plug in my phone. There we go. So we don't run out of battery. Alright. So I do want to attach a ribbon. There we go. So we're going to put this in here. We could do it either way. Sort of the nicer side this way. And then we'll center it onto here. Yeah. Alright. So in this case, I'm going to use some wet glue because I want to make sure that ribbon stays put and that this does not get pulled out too easily. So I'm going to find my center more or less. And I'm just going to carefully flip it over and center it onto here, more or less. I don't really measure. So just a little bit of pressure to keep it in place, make sure it doesn't move around on me. But then you have a little fold out. You can put pictures on there, you can do anything you want it. So, which is kind of nice. So with Christmas coming up, you could potentially make a few of these fairly quickly and inexpensively as gifts. I mean, it wouldn't take much, and you get to use up some of your scrap papers, some of your hoarded papers, you know, things like that. So I'm going to put this one on here because it looks like the moon. I think the owl will look kind of cute on there. So there we go. So I was thinking, what else can we make these little booklets into? So I was thinking we could potentially use just scraps. You know, we all have those scrap bins, you know, small, medium, large, whatever the case may be. We all have them, and it's a great way to use these little magazine art journals for that kind of thing. So I thought that would be kind of cool. I might actually do that because I have a whole bin of scraps. So let's see. So I have been using these black ones instead of the white. Again, I got these off of AliExpress. It's not overly expensive. But Tim Holtz sells these. I can't find any Tim Holtz stuff here in Canada, not in my local Michael's, so it's not something I can get a hold of anymore. They got rid of it all, so I have no idea where it all went to, but there you have it. So I just buy it off of AliExpress. There we go. How cute is that? So that's a nice little fold-out piece. Now here we want to do a belly band for a little notebook, so we can just slide it in there. All right. So I'm going to make it from tickets. So I did make these ones. I thought maybe I could turn these into paper clip tickets. So we'll leave that for now. I wanted to use something a little bit prettier for this. So we could either use this or this. This is quite directional, but it has a lot of color. Which one should we use? I think we'll use this one. So I'm sure many of you have made tickets before. If not, this is how I find it's the easiest way to make them. It's simple enough to fold it in on itself. And then all you need is a hole punch. You can keep it all together like this, and then you can punch just the little bit of the corners, or if that doesn't suit you, you can just go like this and just do the little corners like this, wherever the folded line is. There's lots of tutorials and tickets. I have a video on some tickets that I've made not that long ago. I'll see if I can find it and link it, or just go through my videos and you'll see it for sure. Again, I'm going to ink it because that way the tickets will stand out a little bit more, because the print, it's kind of hard to see. So the good thing about these kinds of things, if you didn't like the print on one side, you could just do the other side that's blank. You can stamp it, you can color it, paint, you can do whatever you felt like on it. So it's a good way to use up some scrap pieces of paper that you would not normally use for anything else. Alright, so this is a little bit too big. We could keep some of it out of the top and use it as a little tab. Okay, so instead of cutting it and whatnot else, we are going to just staple it in. I kind of like the industrial look of staples. The idea is to have it like that. Alright, so we need to know where to put this. So sort of in the middle. And I'm going to staple it, because I think that's the strongest. And since we haven't done anything on the other side, we can hide the staples with something else. There we go. All right, that should give us enough. Hopefully I didn't make it too small. Maybe I did. Nope. Haha. Alright. It's the ribbon that's going to give us a hard time, isn't it? You need a little bit more leeway. Alright. That's simple enough. We can just pull out the staples and try again. Maybe. If I had a staple remover, it would be better. Don't do that at home, kids, because that's going to hurt. There we go. Okay, let's try this again, shall we? Maybe we'll just put a single staple in there, because that'll give us a little bit of room. I'll just staple it off to one side. Let's see if that works. Haha, much better. All right, and then that sticks out. That's okay. That's not bad. That gives room for the ribbon. See, everything is fixable. So this does stick out on the other side, so we're going to ink that up. Could put something on that. But I think it's okay. So you could leave this as is. If you have something that's a bit plainer, you could obviously put all kinds of stuff on it if you want it. But I think that is how we're going to do that. So there we go. Yet another page done. Let's see, what is the time on this? Oh, plenty of time. We're going to leave it at this. So another page done. Yay! I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye.